everybody. See, I told you Winston would be making a guest appearance, and I always have to do this because he's a little camera shy until you put a professional photographer in front of him, and then he's Mr. I'm super photogenic. But we'll see how long he stays. He doesn't really like to stay that long, so he's here looking at the chickens in the back. Funny thing, before I started this live video, there was no roosters roostering, whatever they're singing, and now they're starting to sing. So if you hear them in the background, it's just, you know, normal life in New Britain, Connecticut, with a backyard full of chickens, and then the next yard over there's 2 pigs. So, you know, it's a very interesting place. It's supposed to be a city, but feels more like the country, with the neighbors and their chickens and stuff. So today we are at our last day of the Stop Being a Bitch to Yourself challenge. So I'm hoping that you have had some reflective moments this week, and I'm hoping that some things resonated with you, because we did talk about a lot of things. We talked about a lot of you know, heavy subjects and things that sometimes are hard to really focus on and take a look inside of us, right? That's why so many people walk around in this very just kind of shallow form of life, because they don't really want to look within. It takes a lot of work and it takes a lot of energy to look within yourself. So I'm hoping that some of the things we talked about help you do that, and I know you ladies already do that on your own. But, you know, like I've said before, yesterday and probably the day before, I want to help you guys connect with each other and connect with yourself even more. So I wanted to just wrap it up a little bit and talk about, you know, I talk a lot about accepting all parts of you, right? Because it is so important. Like I said, we walk around living this shallow existence because the biggest fear that we have is getting to know ourselves and connecting with ourselves. You know, it's so scary to really look inside. And I don't, you know, I know it's emotional and that's why it becomes scary, but it's almost like people are really, really frightened to find something really ugly inside. And, you know, we all have dark parts and we all have light parts. But at the end of the day, they are us, right? And if you're not an evil person who wants to cause harm to others, then what are you so scared of? What are you so scared of that you will find? You know, our circumstances are things that we chose to go through, and I know that's hard to understand, but just kind of, if you believe in the spiritual way of how we come and how we incarnate, you know, we sign up for a lot of the things that we go through in life. And you're like, Jessica, that's not right, because I wouldn't sign up for something so tragic to happen to me. But like I said before, we are in the school of life, and we are here to learn and to evolve and to grow as souls, right? We're in this human experience and in this human body to be able to experience, to learn, to have the experiences, to learn, to develop ourselves and become bigger and brighter beings. Because at the end of the day, once we die, once we leave this planet, once we leave this body, we still continue on. The soul never dies. Energy never dies. You know, electricity goes on forever, and that's what most of our body is made out of, is, you know, electric connections, like the electric neutrons and neurons in our brain and all of that stuff. So that doesn't go away. So we are here to learn as much as we possibly can. So looking inside, seeing all those parts of you, most of the ugly parts are young parts. They are parts that were developed through subconscious programming, through our experiences in life. So how scary can those parts really be? You know, they may show up and manifest in a big scary type of way, you know, a darkness or some kind of malicious, manipulative, you know, part of you, but it doesn't mean that it is a bad part that you need to be able to, or that you have to discount and you have to get rid of, right? If you love and embrace all parts of you, that is the key. That is when you are going to really have the confidence to teach others how to treat you, like what we were talking about yesterday. You know, we have to show people how we want and deserve to be treated. And by knowing ourselves fully, right, knowing every single part of us and being able to control those parts, because when the parts get so extreme that they feel like they're defending the system, they are going to come out like little crazy soldiers that are going to try to protect you, and may cause some heartache to others, or some embarrassing moments for you, and then you're beating yourself up. Those are all parts of you. And if you learn to identify those parts, and if you learn to nurture them, and if you learn to say and to really communicate with them and say, hey, the soul, us, our core self, is wise and good, and we know exactly what to do. So how about we all work together and become part of this balanced system, right? And our parts are male and female, like I stated before. We have divine feminine and divine masculine energy, but on the opposite of that, right, the yin and the yang, on the opposite side of that, it can be very unbalanced feminine and unbalanced masculine. And in the course that I am launching, I go into that. There is a whole module on talking about not the whole module, but there's a module that talks about the different parts of us and accepting parts of us, and it talks about in more detail about what the divine feminine and masculine and unbalanced feminine and masculine look like. So once you know that about yourself, it's much easier to really focus in and try to connect with those parts and nurture them and love them, and really become a whole, more balanced person. That's the key. It wasn't until I started to embrace my very aggressive parts, or my very, I call them bitchy parts, or angry parts and bitter parts, that I calmed those energies down, because that's my system used to be led by those, by all the hurt and all the pain that I had experienced, through different circumstances in my life, not just in romantic relationships, or not just with my father, or whatever it is, through other experiences with people. I remember I had a teacher in high school who I didn't realize had affected me so much, but it was just a major thing and I think that's why I have such a hard time writing things now, because I think it was the speech, because I was class president. I think it was a speech for graduation, and he mutilated my speech, and I thought it was the best thing in the world. And I didn't realize how that affected me in life, because it's come up in different times when I've done, not therapy necessarily, but when I've done Akashic readings, or have had done Akashic readings, or Reiki healing sessions. That tends to come up a lot, because it is a self-confidence thing for me. When I thought I was so confident and the speech was so great, it was completely and utterly mutilated, and he wanted me to change so many things, and I refused to do that. It might have been the speech, it doesn't matter what it was something in senior year. It was either the note to the students in the yearbook, or my graduation speech, because it just felt very violating that he would want to change something that was so personal to me. So I say all of that to say that sometimes we think, here he goes, he's leaving now, go. Sometimes we think that we handled that situation well, or fine, or we put it somewhere where it's not going to affect us, but then something like a lot of the what triggered it for me at some point was when I started doing a lot of this kind of social media marketing, which is so foreign to me, right? And it's weird to write, because I've been trained to write more clinically. It's weird to write in ways that I'm just not used to. So that came up for me, and I thought I had resolved that. So it's about getting to know these parts of you, and sending some love and sending some nurturing to them, so that they don't continue to lead your system. Hey Coral, how are you? And then when you start to do that, when you start to be able to say, I fully and truly love every single part of me, then you have the confidence to be able to set the appropriate boundaries with the people that you need to set the boundaries with, right? So we all have those people that are really close to us, or that we feel some type of loyalty to, that we are very afraid to say no to, or set a hard boundary, and say, I will only give you this much time of myself, and and really ration out the time that I'm going to spend with you. It's very, we have some of those people that are very difficult, but the more that you're able to ground yourself within yourself, the more that you're able to accept all parts of you, the more confidence you will gain, and the less guilt you will feel when you have to set boundaries with people. There are those people in our lives that we wished could be different, but once we're able to set the boundaries, we're also able to accept them for who they choose to be, and sometimes we have to get to the point of to say, this person's never going to change. Now I have to evaluate how I am going to relate to them, how I am going to allow them to be in my life or not. Because it's about protecting yourself, because if you don't protect yourself, who else is going to do that for you, right? Remember that we can't always rely on external validation or external ways of getting our happiness met, or being happy, or finding our joy, because it is within ourselves. So by looking within yourself, right, you get to know yourself, you get to know all of your parts, and guess what? You find that internal love, and you find those internal tools that have been within you the entire time. You know, the quote that I quoted yesterday from Rebecca Campbell, and it probably doesn't go exactly like this, I might be just paraphrasing, but this is the way that I remember it. It is, call off the search party, I've been inside of me all along. And if we don't look within ourselves, we will miss it. We will go through this life missing how wonderful and magnificent we are as a person, and that every single part that lies within us is what makes us, right? Even the not so great parts, even the the crazy, I hate to use that word, but the crazy, get a little out of control, get a little upset, get a little angry, and outburst parts, right? Those are the ones that I hate that I have hated the most of myself, are those parts that just kind of lash out on people and don't really think, and are so impulsive to just word vomit all over somebody. They've been much under control ever since I started to accept that, it's a function of who I am, and it makes me who I am, but I cannot let it be unbalanced and lead my system in a way that is going to push people away, right? Or in a way that is going to make me not like the way that I'm behaving on a daily basis. So, I just wanted to bring we've talked a lot about a lot of stuff, and there's so much more to talk about, but I just wanted to kind of bring it all together, that, and I think I said this yesterday, that the bottom line is really to focus within yourself, find that inner light and shine it as bright as possible. Find the love that you have for yourself. And like I said yesterday, not just about getting your nails done, your hair done, or whatever. It's about truly embarking on a journey to fully embrace yourself every single day, and acknowledge how amazing you are, and acknowledge all the great things you are, and also acknowledge that you're human and you make mistakes. I have a client who gets very worked up whenever he makes mistakes, and we've been trying to work on that part a lot, because it's like, but you're a human being. You're gonna make mistakes. It's part of the learning process. Now, if you continue to beat yourself up because the mistakes he's making are not major mistakes. These are little minor things, but it's amazing how we, because of probably the way we grew up and the way whatever was said to us, we take that into our adulthood, and whenever we do something, quote unquote wrong, we spiral into this space of, I'm a bad person and I can't believe I did that, and I should know better, and all of that. By connecting with those parts of you, then you say, okay, that was silly and I made a mistake, and what can I do to make it better, and what did I learn from this situation? When I have clients who have those, and for myself as well, who have those parts that are very like we talked about before, self-critical, I have them talk to the part and ask those questions. What is beating myself up doing for me? How is that serving me? Is that going to make the situation any better? How can I make the situation better, and what have I learned from this? So it's really, really spending time with yourself, going inside yourself, loving yourself, hugging yourself, really getting down and dirty and being comfortable with being with yourself. I love to spend time with myself, and I'm one of 5 women. I'm the youngest of 5, and I think part of that is because all of my sisters kind of grew up together. They were all close in age, and they were always out doing their thing, and I was a latchkey kid at home, so I really enjoyed, but you would think, coming from such a big family, that I would have a hard time being alone, but I relish my alone time, and I think now more than ever, because I am able to really focus in on myself, really do the readings that I need to do, or meditate the way that I would like to meditate. And I don't always get the alone time, because I live with family members. I live with my sister and my nephew and my mom, just because it makes the most sense, right? So I just wanted to get you guys to really think about what we've talked about in this past week and continue to practice some of the things that we've talked about. Also there, you know, like I said, I'm launching my course. There's more there, more content, more assignments, more things that you can adapt to your daily practice and your daily life. And the best thing about that is that once you purchase it, it's yours forever. Like, you'll have access to it forever. It's not one of those courses that goes away after a while or whatever it is. So you can go back and watch the videos. Actually, the first 5 or 6 people that sign up or register for the course, I'm gonna have some bonus meditations that I recorded, as well as crystal dreaming. I'm gonna be doing a giveaway of crystal dreaming session. The only thing, if you're in far away, if you're not in Connecticut, to do a distance healing, you would have to get some spirit quartz. But if you are interested, and if you sign up for the course, we can talk about that and how that would work. But crystal dreaming is a really groovy, awesome experience. Almost like it's hard to describe, but it is a shamanic journey. You can go very astral into spaces that are very unique in order to be able to resolve and take away blockages in a much quicker way than you would with therapy. So, for some people it takes a little longer, but some people can go very, very high very, very quickly. So it's an awesome experience. So if you're interested, sign up for the course, or if you're even interested in doing a session outside of the course, we can discuss pricing. But it's an amazing, beautiful experience. Some people have said, and I've felt that it's a very trippy experience. A lot of people have been doing ayahuasca ceremonies and that kind of thing. It's almost to that level, but really with no using no substances or anything to take you there. It's just you and your mind and the crystals and the intention, and it's a super amazing experience. So, there's a lot of stuff coming up. If you can always private message me. But I'm so happy that you guys were here and, loving yourself to the fullest. And listen, I know love yourself is a buzzword now, but I don't know how other way to say it, but to fully embrace and accept all parts of you is the most important thing you could do for yourself, the most important gift you could give to yourself. Because I have personally started to do this intensely, I would say in the last 3 years more than anything. I mean, I've had my journey through different experiences, and the universe kicking me in my ass and saying, hey, you need to do this, and me going. But I've been full throttle on this journey for about the last 3 years, when when it was really a tough time in my life, and it has been the most amazing. People have noticed the difference. Some people are a little freaked out, especially when I pull out my oracle cards at parties. I had some friends do that, freak out a little bit a couple of years ago. I was at a friend's annual cookout, and I pulled out my oracle deck and gave some awesome readings, but some people wouldn't come near me, which I thought was funny. And some people were like, when did you start doing this? And that's one of the parts that I've accepted of myself, is my weird, witchy, light working part, and I love it, and I have fully embraced it, and I don't care what people say about it. So when you do this, when you embrace every single part of you, no matter how weird, no matter how messy, no matter how ridiculous, you will be in bliss and in pure, just grounded happiness. Still human being, still experiencing human things, right? Because I still get a little road rage when I'm on the road, but not as much as I used to. I am able to, get a little upset and then let it go, and it's amazing, because in the past I would have let that, a road rage incident or somebody driving like an idiot or cutting me off or whatever ruin my whole entire day. So I have my moment because I'm still human, right? And I just let it go, because it's not worth it. And it's not worth turning against myself or carrying that negative energy all day long. So I want you to focus in on yourself, practice some of the things that we've talked about. This group will stay active, and you guys are more than free to post in here. I will be posting in here. Anything new that's coming, that I have coming, you will be first to know about it. And I'm so excited for all the time that we've spent together, and I look forward to more things. I'll be doing more lives on here for sure. Whatever you want to kind of discuss and talk about, and I'm also open to having guests come on, right, Coral? I'm just saying, also open to having people who are also on this journey really share their stories. And if you're interested, private message me, because I think we can do some great work together. Collaboration is the way to do things and really move mountains and really get people in the space that they need to be. So I am going to sign off for today, and if you have any questions, if there are any subjects that you want to address that we need to talk about, if you want to do a session together, on a live, I'm all down for that. And you guys have a great holiday. Look at me. I wish it was a holiday. You guys have a great weekend. And I will see you here again maybe next week. Okay? Love you guys. Have a great one.